Thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me to open this conference. For me, it's a great honor. For me, the EAPM is very much like a hub. It's linking organizations together. But organizations by themselves, they cannot link. You need people to do that. And that is what we do, practitioners and organizational representatives. I used to say that sharing is caring. It's about wishing to do good for each other. We share practices, support each other, and link people together and build friendship across borders. And if you share, you very often get even more in return. COVID has been challenging for all of us. It has been challenging for relations. It's much easier to build close relations when we meet and greet. But the wonderful paradox of COVID is that we are maybe even more than ever able to deliver more and link better across borders. But it comes to a price. On a daily basis, we often look down, focusing on the tasks that comes around. From time to time, I think it's important to stop, look up, and build perspectives based on what is around us and what is possible to see ahead. And the overall in that, it's about being aware of the impact we have on others in and around the organization we work. It's about being proud and showing pride in what we do and what we deliver. And it's about preparing for the next step, building the knowledge, the motivation, and self-esteem needed to play an important role in what comes after COVID. HR switches and balances between support and strategy logic. It's cross-functional and it's challenging. That is exactly also what makes it exciting. Traditionally, we come from the support side. As a profession, we started as welfare officer and developed into personnel. Then came HR, focusing more on external environment and more on the strategy element of their organizational life. This was again followed by HR transformation, highly influenced by Dave Ulrich and other thought leaders. We went into a more strategic ideal on how we as a profession should develop and operate. In order to understand yourself, you must know history, it is said. And we have a history of work versus capital. Workers against owners. It has been filled with conflicts and very often with capital as the stronger force. But power has shifted. Knowledge is now the new currency. Workers, investors, and society are more and more understanding that we are in the same boat. So are companies and countries. We share destiny. Then we should also align our efforts. HR is an instrument for the company. But if we do not understand that the broader responsibility for the ecosystem we are a part of, we will fail. It's about producing value and acting value-based to the benefit of companies, individuals, and the society we are all a part of. For some countries, this has been a long story. Your history has been more compressed. That also means that you are developing faster than most others. Last year or so, most of us have been highly COVID focused. We have relocated successfully, I would say, to home offices, taking care of colleagues and been highly successful in our support role. Now again, it's becoming more about strategy. It's about shaping the future. Many years ago, I toured Norway together with Professor Meredith Belbin. Some of you might remember him as the professor behind the Belbin model, the team model. Belbin made a point out of the fact that in a longer historical perspective, the time of industrialization is like this. It's very, very short. But still, this logic of industrialization is very much what guides, but also limits our mental and legal models about what work is all about. It's also the framework for what leadership is about, heavy influence by ideals of control, direct guidance, supervision of low-skilled workers, and in general, often a negative and limiting perspective on autonomy, motivation, and the need for meaningful work. Factors we know are the basis for motivation. I strongly believe that the way out of COVID is a golden opportunity to let go to those old models and thinking patterns, at least to a large extent. Let's instead embrace the kind of leadership and culture that builds motivation, stimulates initiative, and makes people grow and thrive. Let's give our colleagues the kind of leadership and governance that signals trust. Such signals are strong signals, since they trigger reciprocity. Do to others what you want others to do to you. If you show someone trust, you get trust in return. It's as easy as that. Many years ago, there was a Formula One driver. His name was Emerson Fittipaldi. He was from Brazil. He was one of my childhood heroes. Once he was asked by a journalist, and just to go on with the stereotypes, she was a caring person, obviously, because her first question to Emerson was, Emerson, aren't you not afraid of losing control when the speed is so high? And his answer is the most testosterone-filled answer I have ever heard. If you have a sense of control, your speed is too low. I'm still inspired by Emerson Fittipaldi. If you have a sense of control, your speed is too low. It said that a crisis is a too big opportunity to go to waste. We are in change. There is a momentum. Do not stop that change, but push, push, push. And at the same time, and this is very, very important, make change good for everyone, for companies, for individuals, and for the society as a whole. If change isn't positive for us as individuals, we will fight it. During COVID, we have learned that most people can be trusted. Many of us work more than we have ever done before. And we as employees, we have learned to appreciate not having to travel to work each morning. We sleep a bit extra. We spend time with family and enjoy the possibility of working more focused and concentrated on tasks which are good for that kind of work. We often speak about 70, 20, 10 when we are speaking about learning. 70% from challenging tasks and that kind of stuff, 20% on reflection, and 10% from the more classical way, educational programs, etc. But just think 1 year back, what we have learned from practice during COVID. Do not stop that learning process. And we are in the middle of a digital revolution. It has accelerated. And what a potential we can see. We can pick up rather cheap digital learning and education from thought leaders all around the world. I used to say that it's the biggest democratization of learning since Gutenberg invented the art of printing around 1450. Now, seeing the end of COVID, we see the end of the old era, and we can shape the new future to the benefit again of companies, individuals, and society. I mean, there's a fantastic window of opportunity there. It's wide open. Don't let us walk by that window. Change is about people, and we as HR are in the people business. It's also about the acceptance of not being 100% in control. Remember Emerson Fittipaldi, if you have a sense of control, your speed is too low. I have a good colleague. He is the director for HR at the Norwegian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He always signs his emails with, make yourself a good day. By that he means that it's up to each and one of us to do the best out of every opportunity. And we know from behavioral psychology that those of us who have a dominant internal locus of control, we systematically perform better than those who have a dominant extrinsic external one. The International HR Day is definitely about sharing practices, but it's also an important day for being proud, building motivation, and aligning focus. So my message is, be extremely proud of what we have done and who we are and the role we play, but stay hungry. Shape your own future and make yourself a good day. Thank you very much for inviting me, and have a great conference.